So now let's get started with our first question. And maybe we could get started with you, Steve. We seem to be on the cusp of game-changing innovations in health, with advancements in gene therapies and nanotechnology, for example. What do you consider the most exciting new frontier in health and medicine?
Well, thanks, Hallie, and thanks, Chicago Innovation. And by the way, Luke, you looked great, and you were like really enthusiastic. We were feeling you, and I'm sorry we couldn't hear you, but we were right there with you the whole way. I think the next 20 years are going to be like truly revolutionary when it comes to healthcare. I mean, the changes that we've seen wrought with mobile technology and the internet over the last 20 years, I think we're going to see a similar scale of change when it comes to health and healthcare over the next 20 years. And you named a couple of things around nanotechnology and gene therapies, and there's microbiome and cell therapy. There's all sorts of technologies like that are really starting to emerge out of labs and have really truly incredible potential. One of the ones that I'm kind of most excited about is really in when we talk about analytics and the ability to like change the whole model of healthcare from it being very reactive today and pretty bad at managing chronic conditions and very episodic. And that technology, by enabling us to capture data from people in real time or near real time in lots of different non-intrusive ways, whether they're in a clinical setting or out of a clinical setting and just enjoying their lives, and being able to flip the model and make it very predictive so that instead of going to see a doctor when you have a symptom or you feel funny or somebody tells you look funny, or that the doctor will come to you because some parameters aren't working quite the way that they should be, and some alarm is going to go off, and a doctor's office is going to call and say, let's take a look at XYZ. And I think that can and will represent a sea change in how we manage well-being and how we manage chronic conditions. Has huge implications for costs and health and longevity and everything else. And I'm couldn't be more excited about that as a development.
Certainly share that excitement. I think I read somewhere recently that the value of data has now exceeded that of gold and oil. So it seems like we're on the precipice of understanding that there is value, but not really understanding how to quite harness that for change yet. And that's that exciting moment that we find ourselves in. Would any of the other panelists like to jump in on that question?
Yeah, I'd jump in there, and I actually would agree with Steve on the analytics front. I think it's this ability to predict, but I think the it's also going to help us a lot with the efficacy of treatments. Right, we're going to be able to understand a whole lot more about what treatments really yield the best results. And so couple that with earlier engagement and better predictive models, and then being able to put people down more effective paths, I think is really going to make a huge difference.